I'm Harrison Graham. It's time for another Bears Now off-season mailbag. We'll start with mock season. Oh, it's mock draft season, baby. If Caleb Banks' medicals check out, talking about the Florida D-tack, should the Bears draft him? He's looked great at the Senior Bowl. I would be open to it, man. I really liked him coming into this year. He injured his foot late in 2024, came back early in the year, re-aggravated it, so only played 3 games in 2025. But in 2024, 4.5 sacks, had a good pressure rate per PFF, was in the backfield a lot. I know everybody's going to be like, 6'5", 6'6", Florida D-tack. Didn't we try that with Gervon Dexter? Scout the player, not the helmet. He's got much better get-off. He's already a better run defender than we've seen in 3 years out of Dexter. The big question here is the foot. What do the medicals look like? That'll be important. I promise you the Bears will look into Caleb Banks. If the medicals check out and he's there at 25, I'd be very interested. I think he's got a huge ceiling. I think his floor, if healthy, is at least just like a solid rotation D-tack. Now, you want more than that in the first round, but I think if he's healthy, chances are he's at least going to be a good starter. And you got to get better on your defensive line, edge, interior, both. So yeah, if his medicals check out well, I'd be very open to him at 25 overall. Now name a player that you guys think the Bears should draft. Doesn't matter position, any player that you want, even if it's some guy you got to trade up for. Let's hear it in the comments of this video. All right, super chat from Jeremy. Appreciate it. What do you think Caleb's deal will be when we pay him? How good is he when he's extension eligible? If by the end of next year he's a bona fide top 8 quarterback, he's getting at minimum low 50s per year. That's the minimum. And it's probably more like mid 50s. And I think he'd be pretty proactive in trying to extend him next year if he puts it all together next year and has a monster season and just like, hey, we can get him now at 55 versus 62 next year. Now, don't do the Jags Trevor Lawrence thing where it's like he was actually better the year before, but we want to get out in front of it. Like next year clearly needs to be the best year he's had if you're going to jump out in front of it. Otherwise, just wait. Pick up the 5th-year option. You still have 2 years of team control. But if next year he's like, oh, wow, I mean, he played like a top 5, top 7 guy all year, then yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at probably mid-50s, mid-high 50s. On an average annual value. So, look, good starting quarterbacks, like top 10, top 12 guys, that number typically starts with a 5 now. And the really, really good guys moving forward, it's going to start with a 6. It already does with Dak Prescott, who's not even like top tier. He's like in that second tier. So, it's going to be a lot of money. John Orticelli, how much does Khalil Mack have left in the tank? Is he a good locker room guy? Oh, he's a great locker room guy by all accounts. And I still think he has a good amount in the tank. He does get a little banged up. He missed 5 games this year, but he graded out very well per PFF. He's always defended the run well. He only had 5 sacks, but his pressure rate was high. He's still a good player. Now, he's not going to play like 80% of the snaps probably more like 60 to 70. So if you ended up signing Khalil Mack, ideally you would draft a guy that you could also throw into that rotation. And so you have Montez Sweat, Khalil Mack, Austin Booker, and like maybe like a day 2 pick. And so you could just rotate a lot. Like you'd go with more of a volume approach with your pass rushers. So that is certainly an avenue the Bears could take if, some of the top tier options aren't truly available. All right, fellas, Valentine's Day is almost here, and we got awesome deal for you. If you're watching live on Thursday, or if you're catching this before the month of February, you can get $5 off married into this. We got sweatshirts for the ladies. These are unisex. The fellas can wear these too. Yeah, you're married to the game. Who needs a significant other if you don't have one? Get these today. We got them in the white. We got them in the kind of the charcoal here as well. We also have the white T-shirts available. The T-shirts are for the ladies out there, but fellas, if you kind of have swooned in your girl and you need a Valentine's gift and she sees you going crazy on Graham Day and she's married into Bears fandom, this is the sweatshirt for you. Chatsports.com/VDay, chatsports.com/VDay, and can't encourage the discount enough. $5 off. It ends February 1st, so you got to catch that deal in January. You can still buy the gear if it's already February. You're just not going to get the $5 off. Promo code VDAY5. VDay5 is the promo code for $5 off. Check out the Garrett. Easy Valentine's gift. Just knock that out now. And so you're not catching, it's the day before. You're like, oh, shit, what do I do? You've already handled it. You're good to go. All right, Red Evan. If you had the chance of trading up for Ruben Bain Jr. or trading for Crosby Garrett, what would they cost and what do you think is a better option? The problem is Ruben Bain is probably going to go top 10. And yeah, as awesome as a prospect he is, I don't think he's like bust proof. He has shorter arms. I don't know how Dennis Allen would feel about that. Does he view him more as a 3-tech? I love Ruben Bain. I think the arm length stuff, like I would not get too caught up in that. But if you're talking about trading up into like the top 10, or even if he falls just outside the top 10, that's going to cost you at least a future one from trading up from 25. So it's like, if I'm doing that much already, wouldn't I just want to trade for a proven commodity? Now, the big difference is rookie contract versus $30+ million per year for Crosby and Garrett. So I get that side of it, but they're proven. He's not in the NFL. So, I could stomach trading up to like the late teens or something, and it doesn't cost you a future one, but I just don't think that's very likely with a guy like Ruben Bain in this draft. I think he's going to go very, very high. So if you want to trade up, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Trade Talk Sports, what's your thoughts of Cashius Howell? I feel he's a dog, but there's some cons about him. Also, would you take TJ Parker or Cashius Howell if both is on the board? I think I'd take Parker. I think he fits this scheme better. He's much better against the run. He's really showed out well at the Senior Bowl. He's got strong arms. He's physical. I think just this year was weird for Clemson. His tape in 2024 was excellent. I think he's a better all-around player now. If you told me Cashius Howell as a rookie had more sacks than TJ Parker, I could probably buy that. But I think Parker's more of a 3-down edge, whereas Howell, I don't know if he ever is. He might just be like a speed rusher, like a NASCAR package guy, and he might be really good at that, but I think I'd go with the better, well-rounded prospect, and I think Parker's that. So I'd probably lean Parker, especially in this scheme, but I like Cashius Howell. I mean, I get 25 in this draft. That's perfectly fine. But if both are available, my gut says the Bears would take Parker, and I think I would too. Subscribe to the channel. Bears content all year long. Just because the season's over doesn't mean our coverage is stopping. The IAC roads was not going to stop us either. I was pumping out content from home, so we'll continue to do that. We do these mailbags every Monday and Thursday live on the show, so lock us in for that also. All right, DC Viper, if Downs or Bain fell outside the top 10, would you risk trading a lot to move up? If not, who would be some players to trade up for? I mean, I do think those are two guys you'd consider it for. Again, I don't know how the Bears are going to feel about Bain. I really like him, but short arms for an edge is kind of a no-go historically for Dennis Allen. Now, would he be the exception to the rule? I would argue he should potentially be. Caleb Downs, I think, would be pretty interesting. If he slipped outside the top 10, I would be pretty interested in moving up. Now, how much do you want to give up to trade up for a safety, kind of a safety nickel do-it-all DB? He better be special if you're going to do it, and I think he's got a chance to be pretty special. So, I don't know. If he's there at 12 and you trade 25 and next year's 1 and nothing else, I'd consider it. He could be a 10-year guy for you at a high level. So, and he's much safer, I would say, than Ruben Bain. Like, at worst, he's a good starter, I think. So, be interesting. Some people think Downs could fall because of positional value. We got Jason Morris. Has anyone stood out to you from the Shrine Bowl or during Senior Bowl practices? Zion Young. Yeah, he stood out. Lee Hunter from Texas Tech has been very good. I like the kid out of Florida State at the Shrine Bowl. Darrell Jackson. He also got a late Senior Bowl invite. He's done well there also. TJ Parker's had a good week. A lot of these, like Derek Moore out of Michigan, has had a really good week. I think he's improved his stock. A lot of these like big physical edge rushers have been good the last couple of weeks. That's good news for the Bears because that's what they like and that's what they need. So, I think those are some guys. Bud Clark, my guy, safety out of TCU. He could be like a third round pick maybe for Chicago. Ball hawk, older prospect, but 15 picks in college. He's had a couple interceptions during Senior Bowl week. So, yeah, there's a lot of defensive talent, which is good because the Bears need defense. Would you rather trade up or trade down in the draft? Talking about round 1. Would you rather trade up and take the aggressive swing, or would you trade down and, maybe acquire more picks in the, second to fourth round range? U for up, D for down. I would lean down right now, but if the right player fell far enough, I would certainly be open to moving up. All right, Scepter, how many big name players do you think the Bears will sign, i.e. players who the Bears will give a multi-year contract to? It probably won't be a ton. Like Trey Hendrickson could be a guy. Khalil Mack's a big name, but I think that's a 1-year contract for whoever signs him. Hendrickson could get 2 or 3. It would really come down to the guaranteed money for him. I'm trying to think who else. Not a lot of defensive tackles. T.R. Tart already read up with the Chargers on a 3-year deal, so he's not available, unfortunately. Would I give a guy like Devin Bush a 2-year deal? He's played really well for the Browns the last couple of years. He's kind of saved his career. He would be an upgrade at linebacker, I think. So I'd have to think more. I mean, Kevin Byard, maybe you give him a 2-year deal, but it's really like a 1+1, like 2 for 16 with 10 guaranteed, where it's $8 million per year, and then you give him a couple extra million on that second year. So have to look at the list more, but those are some guys that come to mind for multi-year contracts. All right, Carson, we got where do you think the ceiling and the floor is for the upcoming season? Well, I mean, there's so much things that could happen, right? I mean, the ceiling is, I think you could be a Super Bowl contender. You weren't that far away this year. Like, you lost in overtime to a team that lost basically at the very end of the game in the NFC Championship game. So, I probably would have picked Seattle against the Bears. I think that would have been a tough matchup, but you were essentially a play away from the Final Four this year. So I don't – and the Bears profile to be better next year. Caleb Williams should be better. Now, they may not – you probably don't want to rely on as many close games, but even that's a misleading stat. The Bears went 8-5 in one-score games. People act like they went 12-1. So, yeah, I think a lot of their young talent should be better next year. They all know the system, both sides of the ball. The scheme's not changing. So, yeah, I think the ceiling is you're a Super Bowl contender, and the floor is, I don't know, is the floor you have a tough-ass schedule and you, kind of have a year like Detroit did this year where you're a good team, but you lose some tight games and you go 8-9, 9-8. I'd probably say, floor is 7 or 8 wins, and ceiling is, you're 13 wins and you have a chance to win the Super Bowl. I think you're somewhere in that gap. I think the floor has been elevated pretty significantly here. I'd be shocked if they won less than 8 games. All right, follow me on social media. It's at HGramNFL on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm also on Facebook now, by the way. I'll get a link on screen at some point, maybe for the next live show. If you just go to facebook.com/HGramNFL. I'm also on Facebook now as well, trying to ramp that up. So listen, you gotta be on all the platforms these days. So if you're a Facebook person, I know a lot of our audience prefers Facebook. Facebook.com/HGramNFL. But DMs are open, posting short form content on those platforms. So give us a look over there.